this is my first video. I have never posted a personal video online before, so let's see how this goes. I'm Chirayu. I live in London. I grew up in India. You can also call me Chi. I know it's a hard name. And yeah, in general, I love researching and experimenting with fasting. Hence, the name of the channel is Chi Fasts. I am not a doctor, you should know that. I studied engineering and I spent most of my career working with startups. But yeah, I'm really passionate about this. And something else about me that's interesting is that I've just always maintained a lot of health records. So, for example, I've been tracking my weight and I have a sheet since 2005. And I write a lot of notes when there's something I really care about tracking. So there's a few things I want to achieve with this content. One, I really feel like there's not enough real people talking about their experiences with fasting, especially high quality content. I've seen like one video here and there from a creator, but I want to see someone talking about their exact journey day by day and more real people and less big influencers. Uh, and what I want is like notes from every single experience, every single day, right? What was the good? What was the bad? When did they feel good? When did they feel bad? Um, and I think there's a big reason why there isn't content like this. I'll talk about this in a second. I want to be really methodical in uploading content and creating content. So even though videos or content might be short, but I want to be pretty organized with how I do it. And I also want to track a lot of health metrics in addition to the experiences that I have during a fast. This is a big one. Fasting is a big part of me, but I've not openly discussed this with most people. Uh, Again, I'll talk about this. It's a big topic. But during this fast, I want to own it more and just be real that this is a big part of who I am. And I don't want to hide it anymore. So, yeah, just think of me as your human test case. Um, I'm sure a lot of you are hearing about fasting. I am someone who likes to fast. I want to do long fasts and record my experiences doing it. And I want to share exactly what I experience and what the metrics show me along the way. And hopefully, this gives some of you some more confidence, some answers, and it just resonates with you. Cool. So first root bomb. This is why I think there isn't too much content around fasting and why you don't hear about this too much. It's a lonely and stressful journey. Um, I've been fasting since 2017, so I say this from a lot of experience. And here, I found this on a Reddit community. I'm just putting the screenshot in a second. So yeah, read that for a second. And I find this very, very true, right? Um, Almost no one said anything to me my entire life when they saw me overeating, when they saw me eating like processed foods, having a lot of like carbonated sugary drinks, alcoholic drinks. But the moment I told people that, hey, I'm not eating for 24 hours, 36 hours, 3 days, people would freak out, right? Um, so the people in the past who would speak up about my eating habits would be some very close uh, people in my life. But now when I started talking about fasting, when I got into it, because I was feeling really good doing it, and I was excited about it, random people who were not a part of my life started coming in, and they were losing their mind and thinking I'm going to die, thinking that I need to go see therapists and that I've lost my mind. This is why a lot of people don't talk about fasting because they learn this very quickly. And then on the Reddit community on fasting, I think this is very accurate. The number one rule of fasting is don't tell anyone you're fasting. And they also say that the number two rule of fasting is don't ever forget rule number one. So yeah, it's there's a lot of reason behind this. It's because most people think you've gone crazy when you start fasting or talking to them about fasting, and having not eaten for a period greater than like 6 to 12 hours. People think you've lost your mind. And it's really stressful when you're doing a long fast yourself. And that can be 30 hours for you, 24 hours, 15 hours for you, whatever that duration is for you, uh, that is long in the moment. When you share that with people because you feel like you've hit an accomplishment, people will throw a lot of concern at you. They will question you on why you're doing this. How do you know it's safe? How do you know you're not going to die or injure yourself? And there's a lot of concern from their side, but it's really not helpful to the person going through the fast to hear all of that concern because they're trying something out. They've seen some content, they've seen some research, they've seen that something in their life is not working out correctly and they want to try out something new. So they're trying out fasting, but they don't always have the answers. Just like if you fundamentally think about it from first principles, I don't think a lot of people know about why they have a beer or why they eat a certain kind of a food. They just do it. Except one is socially acceptable today, which is to consume a lot of food, overindulge in sensory pleasures like food. Let's focus on here. Um, but when it comes to like fasting, people have forgotten about this, and so it gets very very complicated and extremely stressful. And I speak from a lot of experience over here. So yeah, I want to try to do a 31-day water fast over the next few days. I have not yet started, but I will say, if I don't feel up to it, I'll end the fast. And I've done this a few times, right? I've started fasts with a certain intention, say X number of days, but even before that time, if I'm not feeling well, right? So that's one big marker. If I'm not feeling well, two, if something in life happens that makes it hard for me to do a fast, then I'll end it, right? Like life happens. Fast is one thing you want to do. It's a very important thing, but other things could happen along the way, right? A stressful situation in your family or in work. And when you're dealing with the stress of like a job or a family situation, you may not be in the right mindset to do a fast. And I've ended it in the past, and I think it's totally fine to do that, right? And this is another reason why I would not normally talk about my fasting, is that it's a very personal experience normally, and if I would go out with a certain intention to do a fast, I'd be very okay with ending it early, and there was no guilt of ending it early because there was no one I was sharing this with. So this is a little bit counterintuitive to that because I am sharing over here publicly. So you should also know, it's very important for you to know my history with fasting. I started fasting in 2017. So now coming to about 7 years where I've been fasting. And it's only after this level of experience that I've built up the muscle to start doing these long fasts. Um, there are many reasons for why I fast. That's something I want to share in future videos. But the key one that convinced me was brain health. Fasting seems to reduce the likelihood of someone developing issues like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or dementia. And that was like the one that really convinced me, where I was like, oh, you could have some weight changes, but you can also have other benefits like your overall functioning of your brain. So I was sold when I heard about that. I'll share more about where I heard about it, what my research was like. I've had a few phases where I've not fasted for a while, but I keep coming back to it, right? It's not something I've forgotten in these 7 years. It's always something that I hold close to me, and I keep doing it the way some people work out regularly. You go on and off. That's the same for me with fasting. And then there's key phases, right? So 2017 to 2022, the first 4-5 years, this was like one big phase, I would say. So here, I did a lot of 1 day 40-hour fasts, and I came up with this routine where my happy steady state was eating my dinner on Sunday, and then I would do my next meal directly on Tuesday morning or Tuesday lunch, sometimes even like Monday dinner, right? And Monday I found was a good day to fast because you don't have too many social engagements. The social engagements make fasting extremely hard. It adds a very interesting twinge to it. The longest fast I did at this in this phase was about 68 hours, right? So I think I wanted to do 3 days, but I was really struggling and I could not make it. So I ended it at 68 hours. And in this phase, I have made a lot of mistakes. We can talk about that as well later. And then after 22, something flipped here. Um, I did a 7 day water fast in 2022. Uh, that was like a big leap from 3 days to 7 days. Also, like just psychologically, right? It went from a few hours or days to now saying 1 week. So that was a massive shift for me. And I felt great during that fast, right? I had ups and downs, but the overall sentiment at the end of the fast was this was great. I need to keep pursuing this. Um, and generally, guys, it, it seems to most people that the number one reason someone would fast is weight. It is like it is on that list, but it hardly makes a top 5 or 10 even. There's so much more to it. And then yes, last year I did a 26-day water fast. Um, I didn't tell too many people about this, but obviously you tell your close friends and families members about it. And there were interesting experiences along it. I maintained a detailed journal through this fast, what I was eating, how my digestion was doing. So I maintained that. And yeah, my key message to someone who's not done fasting before or is seeing this video for the first time is that just treat fasting like any exercise, right? Be gradual and consistent. Listen to your body. So if you heard me talking about how I run marathons, I do like 3 marathons every year, uh, and you're not someone who runs, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and go and run the full marathon, right? You're going to take a few weeks, months, years, whatever the pace is correct for you to build up towards that, right? Like your 1K is going to be a milestone for you, then a 5K run will be a milestone for you, then a 10 kilometer run will be a milestone for you. So you gradually go in milestones, right? So be gradual. Fasting is no different than running a marathon. So go easy with it, right? If you're someone who's had 3 meals a day for your entire life and you skip a meal, man, that's a brilliant milestone, right? So celebrate that and go with that spirit. And that's what I've done as well over the years. So this fast, when I enter, I want to do a few things differently. Um, and the thing is, it's an iterative process, right? So every time I've done a fast, I kind of learn something from it, and then I keep a record of it somewhere. And then when I enter the next fast, I know I'm going to try some things out a bit differently. So the last one, which is my reference fast over here, I think it was June or July last year, where I did 26 days of a water fast. Um, and when I say water fast, actually, it's a good clarification point. I predominantly mean no calories, right? So, not the kind of fasting where a lot of people think you can have some juice, you can have some milk in your coffee. No. My definition for fasting typically has been so far no calorie. Ideally, avoid artificial sweeteners as well. They mess up a few things during a fast. I would not even include those. We'll talk more about this in a second. So this time I want to do literally water only. In the past, I have not done it as water only, right? So I have had caffeine, I have continued to smoke, and I have added a few other things like salt when I need to. My simple theory was when I did the shorter fast, I seem to be okay with having coffee. Some people report that they have acidity and it doesn't work with their system. Luckily for me, it was working okay for me over the years, so I didn't need to stop it. The main thing was, hey, giving up food is already hard enough, but when you stop having coffee or stop smoking, for example, you're now dealing with a caffeine and nicotine withdrawal syndrome as well, right? So let's not mix up all three things with the fast because then you're going to have a bad experience with your fast and it's actually like a nicotine withdrawal that you're dealing with, and you're going to incorrectly say that your fast made you feel like shit, right? So I continue to do some of those things. I still personally think it's fine if I'm doing a 2 day or a 5 day fast, so I don't need to be that regimented with these things. But this time, I want to do a long fast again, and even if it ends up being a 5, 10, 15, 20 day fast, I don't know. I want to try to do it with water only. So big difference than the other long fasts I've done in the past. Yeah, and this time, as I've said, I'm owning it. I've been more vocal about this with people, that hey, I'm going to be doing this fast. Here's my phases. And yeah, I'm trying to follow a bit of a protocol right now. So the last time I did the long 26-day fast, I kind of went in blind. I didn't know much of what to expect. I'd done a lot of research. I'd read some blogs. But personally, for me as an entity, I had not done a fast. So I didn't know how I'd be feeling. And now the beautiful thing is I have this like detailed journal where I know how like my weight fluctuated, how my mood fluctuated, how my digestion was acting up during the fast. Not acting up, how it was performing rather. Um, what were the sensations I experienced? There was some very interesting and fun things that happened during that fast. Stuff that I was not expecting. So yeah, now having done that recently, I have a bit of a protocol as I go into the 31-day water fast. I'll share this again. And yeah, I want to measure more metrics. Predominantly, so far, I've just measured fast duration and my weight and how it's done. But I want to measure more metrics this time. I've also taken photographs, right? So yeah, I have been preparing for this 31-day water fast. Guys, there's like weeks of planning that goes into this. I spend a lot more time planning fast than people seem to realize. Um, and I started planning this fast during Christmas break. So it's been around 5 weeks now. I spent hours researching things, figuring out what my protocol is going to be, and developing, a plan for how to do it. There's a lot of thinking that goes behind a long fast like this. It's not something that one needs to do or that I need to do for a 3 day fast today, for example. If I were to do a 3 day fast, I don't need to plan it so much. It's very easy to incorporate into my routine. But with a long fast, there's a lot of things which will become clearer as we go along the way. Yeah, and as I said, the social angle of fasting actually adds a lot of pressure. So here's another area where there's been a lot of work already going on. So one, in the spirit of owning this fast, I've actually been sharing my timelines with friends and family, right? So high level, there's 3 phases, I would say. One is the clean diet phase, which I'm in right now. 2 is actually the fasting phase. And then 3 is the breaking of a fast phase. So roughly speaking, if all of this goes per plan, that's a 2 month journey, guys, right? So for a 31 day fast, that's about 15 days before, 15 days after. So I'm owning this, I'm sharing this with people. When I talk to my family, they know now that, okay, Chirayu is on his 2 week clean diet phase right now. So they know that. Friends know this as well. And this time, I also had listed every craving. The last time I was doing my fast, the 26-day fast, I spent a lot of time thinking about food, which is unsurprising, and I was listing out my top cravings. So I kind of had this like cheat sheet to go back to, and I know which are the restaurants and which are the foods that I really crave. So I started hitting those off before I started my fast. And I was also able to make like a social experience out of it. So I went with a lot of my close friends to restaurants that I really like and that I know I craved the last time around. So I got those experiences in. This was also an experience for me to inculcate these friends into my fasting journey and share these timelines with them again. So yeah, my cleanse has started. This is a interesting phase of preparation. So this past Sunday morning, so where are we today? Today we are on Thursday morning. So on Sunday morning, I smoked my last cigarette. Sunday evening was my last meal out. So I mean at a restaurant or takeaway, whatever you want to call it. And then Monday onwards, I started my cleanse. So what this means at a high level is I'm doing a clean diet. So pretty much just fruits, nuts, vegetables, olive oil, salt and light spices. So much lower spice content than normal. I'm eating like no meals out anymore. No processed foods, alcohol, artificial sugar. So what I mean by that is like fruits is allowed, which has natural sugars, but no artificial sweeteners, no added sugar, uh, no animal foods, so no meat or dairy. Um, and maybe one other thing I've used a few times in the last few days is soy sauce, which I'll also cut out soon. Um, Coffees, I normally have about like 3 to 4 a day. I've already reduced that to 2 per day, and then I'm going to reduce it to one and then cut that out. Yeah, currently the last few days I've been working through caffeine and nicotine withdrawals. That is taking my mood up and down, my energy levels. But I've been working through that right now, so that ideally, by the time I enter my fast, I've dealt with this before. So I'm not going to be dealing with like caffeine and nicotine withdrawals along with the body going through a long fast. Um, yeah, I've already started taking daily photographs. So I have a nice setup. I do these daily photographs every morning, and I've already started measuring some daily metrics. So more on this later. Cool. So yeah, so for the 31-day water fast that's coming up, um, plan is to start that in about 10 days from today. Just again, I've taken years to build up to this and do these long fasts. So please keep that in mind. And yeah, I often change the length of a fast based on how I'm feeling. So I think the last time in July as well, when I did the fast, I'd originally planned to do 31 days, but then I did 26 days, and I felt pretty good ending it at 26 days instead of pulling through with the 31. And that's because there were some social obligations, right? So that's the kind of stuff you need to plan when you're doing a long fast. Is that if there's a social obligation, uh, you need to start doing the math of, if I end the fast on a certain day, that means the fast duration was X, and then my refeeding period, which is also a pretty balanced and organized way to start eating food again, needs to be so long. And then you want to be ready to go for that social event. Um, so yeah. And my plan is that as I go through this fast, uh, I'll share more video updates here. So please follow me to be part of this journey. And yeah, what I'm planning to share is all the parts of the fast, right? What was good, what was bad. So you see really a real person's experiences with this fast. Um, More details on like the things I've touched on over here in this video, right? Why do I fast? Why do I like doing it? What are my motivations behind it? Um, like link to the video content and research from medical professionals that I respect, who convinced me in some ways to give fasting a shot, and then my experiences along with the research that I do has kind of kept me going and interested in continuing this journey. And yeah, I want to share the health metrics, experiences, photographs as well, so you can see the progress for yourself. And yeah, this whole thing in many ways is an experience, is an experiment for me as well, because I'm doing many things differently this time. So thank you, and excited to have you being a part of this journey. And yeah, stay healthy. Look out for the next video soon. Thanks. Bye.